Good morning, Joe and Jorge. I'm gonna send you guys a Saturday morning, 9:30. I left the car outside for a specific reason. Actually, I left two cars for specific reasons, but I left your car outside for this specific reason, was to test the electrical. So I'm gonna start the car right now for you, in a cold start scenario, basically. So yesterday I started it. It started it perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go start it this morning and show you guys that. I mean, I couldn't find an electrical draw. So I know the day that Jorge came and grabbed it and took it home, like the battery was acting up, and it did the same thing with us. We came back and we had to charge it up. So the last thing I want to do is for me to say, oh, it's fixed, and then have it come right back. But I can't duplicate the scenario that you guys are doing, or that you guys are having with the battery. It does me no good to say, hey, yeah, it's fixed, when it's really not. I don't want it to come back, obviously. So we're gonna go ahead and start this up. So again, cold start scenario. Okay, give it a little bit of a choke. So here's maybe what's happening. If it's not starting up on the first few licks, it's probably the fuel getting up to the carburetor, or you have to work the choke just enough to where it'll start. And maybe it's a combination of not doing that and just cranking and cranking and cranking and cranking. If you keep doing that, yeah, you will drain the battery. So I just adjusted the choke a little bit more and we'll see what it does. Okay. Let me restart again. There it goes. So maybe this video helps you guys. When you go to start it, either after you drive it or after you shut it off, play with the choke settings a little bit and just be patient with it, but don't sit there and crank. Obviously we did this 3 cranks. I probably stepped on the gas, primed it up 15-20 times total. But she started, so I'll go ahead and put this back on this morning. I'm gonna let it sit. I gotta be with you guys today at 2 o'clock. I'm gonna drop it off at Jorge's parents' house. But I'm gonna go ahead and kill it. Well, I'm gonna let it warm up, and then I'm gonna kill it and come back probably about an hour or so, or 2 hours, and see if we can get it to not start, or for the battery to start tripping again. So we'll see what it does right now real quick. So it's off. On. Started right up. Oh, going back to why I left it outside. I left it outside so it could get really cool. And a lot of times the cold weather or the cooler weather will affect batteries. So if I would have left it in the shop last night, I probably wouldn't have been able to recreate this exact scenario. Might have started a little faster. But usually the colder temperatures will affect the way fuel flows, the battery acts, the way basically the electrical system works. So that's the reason why I left it outside last night. So I'll go ahead and turn this off. Another thing I mentioned in the last video that I sent Jorge was maybe it's an error issue, because on the last video I sent him, I actually did leave the key on the on position. So I don't know if it was my mistake in doing that. I know that was my mistake, because I was doing that video to him, and then before I knew it, I had left the key on. So key on again, and she starts. Notice where I have the choke, and obviously if she heats up, then you can mess with the choke. So I'll go ahead and shut it off, and then we'll do this again here in a little bit.